Hi guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be making a simple 180-degree flare gown. So with a long sleeve pattern. So these are the fabric that I'll be needing for this gown. I'm using a plain and pattern fabric. So this fabric is going to be the sleeve, is going to be at the sleeve, and this fabric is going to complete the length for the down part of this gown. So let's go into the cutting right now. So I'll be folding. We're making a 180-degree gown, flare gown. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So I'll be cutting my flare first. Usually when I'm making a flare gown, I like cutting my flare first. So I have 1.5 yard of this blueprint and also 1.5 yard of this. So first of all, I'm going to start with the flare down. So you can put your 180-degree flare in two form. You fold in a triangular form like this. This is a 90-degree flare. If you don't want it to be very full, you can put it this way. So after folding this way, you fold. After folding this way, you fold again. So you have four parts. This is a way of cutting a 180-degree flare, but I want it to be full, so I'm going to be cutting it into 290. The front, I'm going to divide this, which is 90 90, because I want the down part to be very full. So I want the whole of this to be one of the down part and another of this to be at the back for the down part also. So what I'll be doing now, you can do this in two ways. Since I'll be adding to the fabric, I'll just take my fabric, fold it into two. So I folded it into two parts. Then I'm going to hold one end of this fabric now. Then I'm going to fold it this way again. So when you fold this way, you get a fuller bottom of a 180-degree flare. So I'm going to fold this in a way that I'll be leaving a zipper allowance at this end for the back. So because I'm adding to the fabric, that is why I'm folding. So this will be enough for me. So I'll start with the measurements now. So I really hope you understood my folding pattern. So I'm going to start imputing the measurement, but before I do that, I'm going to pin this down. So guys, after pinning it down, so I'm going to start with the cutting right now. The waist measurement that I'll be using for this tutorial is 31 inches, while the full length of the gown is 56 inches, but her half length is 16 inches. So I'm going to subtract 16 inches from 56 inches, so we are left with 40 inches. So the down part of this skirt, which is the skirt part of this gown, is going to be 40 inches. So now I will be left with how long I want this first part and what length I want this to be. So what I'll do now, I'll first of all calculate my radius. So to calculate radius for 180-degree flare, I have a tutorial on the formulas to calculate 90-degree flare, 180-degree flare, 360-degree flare, and 720-degree flare. So you can go check it out. But for this flare, since I'm using a 180-degree flare, so the formula for calculating this is your waist circumference divided by 3.14. Again, your waist circumference divided by 3.14. And in this case, the waist circumference of this particular person is 31 inches. So I'm going to divide 31 inches by 3.14, which brings us down to 9.87. So I don't know if you can see it here. I did the calculation and I wrote it. So it brought us down to 9.87. So I'm going to approximate it to 10 inches. So the remaining, the any extra will be for my sewing alarm, because I want this dress to have a side pocket. So it's not all cut together. The way it's folded is like a cut together, but I want it to have a side pocket. So the extra 1.3 inches that was approximately to 10 inches will serve as the side seam allowance. So I'm going to start from the tip of my fabric. I'm going to place my tape here. This is the tip of my fabric. Remember, because of the zip allowance, I won't come start here. This is back. So this is the tip of my fabric. I'm going to place it here. Then I'll take 10 inches all round. So what I will need to do is just to be moving it this way. So I'm going to connect the dotted line together. So from confirmation, I'm going to take the measurement of this to see if I actually have my waist circumference. So here I have 8 inches. So I have 8 inches here. So 8 inches times four. You know this fabric is folded into four. First of all, we folded into a rectangular shape before folding into a triangular shape. So 8 times 4, we have a total of 32 inches. So this is 32 inches. The rest is going to serve as 32 inches. That means half inches on this side, which is one quarter inches on both on each side of the fabric. But that is not enough for me. So I'm going to come down by half inches more just to get my side allowance. But if you are sewing a full 180-degree flay skirt without a side seam, you don't need to add this extra half inches again. This is just enough for you with your zipper allowance. But because I want you to have a side pocket and I want a side seam allowance, so that is why I'm adding this. So I'm going to take the measurement again. So now I have 8.5 inches, and 8.5 inches times 4 is going to give us 34 inches. And my waist circumference is 31 inches. So I'm left with 3 inches. So that 3 inches, I'm going to divide it into 4, which is going to give me 3/4 inch. So each of the side of the skirt is going to have 3/4 of an inch as side seam allowance. So now I'm going to take the measurement of here to this tip to know how many. Depends on how many we got. So that is what we're going to use the remaining one for the completion. So I'll place my tip here. So I have a total of 21.5 inches. So I'm going to mark 21.5 inches all round. As you mark, you move your tape for it to be accurate. You don't leave your tape just at a certain place, just like we did at this end. You move it. So I'm going to connect the dotted lines together. So this is what we have. So we have a total of 21.5 inches from this end to this end. So 21.5 inches, we are going to subtract 1 inches from it because we are going to use half inch for the joining of this down part to the upper bodice and half inch for the joining of this one to this. So by the time I subtract half, we have left with 1 inches, 21.5 inch minus 1 inch, we are left with 20.5 inch. So in other words, and we said the total length of this our down part is 40 inches. So since I'm left with 20.5 inches, let me just assume 20 inches. So here is going to be 20 inches also. But I'm going to cut this in a straight form because this have the flay. But by the time I sew it round, I'll take the measurement of this round circumference and I'll cut it with this. Then I'm going to sew it, then it's going to give us same thing. You see what I mean? So now I'm going to cut this out. So guys, I'm done cutting this out. So we have 1 inch for our zipper allowance here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to slash this end open. So this is going to be the front, while this will be the back. So we have our two pieces here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take the round measurement of the tip to know what we have. So we have a total of 25 inches. By the time I multiply 25 inches by 4, because we have 4 of this here, is going to give us 100 inches. 100 inches. So I'm going to subtract the 3 inches for the side allowance, for the side seam allowance. So by the time I subtract 3 inches from the side seam allowance, so I'm going to be left with 97 inches. Remember, I'm going to join this side before attaching this to it. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm not going to join it before. I'm going to join it, like sew the skirt totally. I will close the zipper allowance side before attaching this. That is why I'm subtracting that 3 inches we have for our side seam allowance. So I'm going to cut 97 inches on this pattern fabric. So guys, I'm done cutting it right now. So we have two of this piece because it's not enough. So one is like 68 inches. So I'll be using this to add to this to get a total length of 60 and 97 inches. So the length I cut for this is, remember the length for the blue upper part is 20 inches. So I had to cut another 20 inches to make it the total length of 40 inches that we'll be needing. So I added 1 inch for hemming allowance at the damper, then half inch for sewing at the up. So I'm going to set this aside, then I'll move over to cutting of the upper bodies of this gown. So I don't think I mentioned to you that it's going to be a normal dart. It's not a princess cut. It's not a princess dart or a buster. It's a normal dart. So dive into it. So guys, this is my fabric. I folded it into two. So I'm cutting the front part, and then I'm using this front part to cut the back part. So this is an opportunity to learn how to draft a basic pattern, a basic, a basic upper body. So I'm going to rule this out because I don't need this part. So this is my starting line. I'm going to rule it also. So what I'll be doing, I'll start inputting all the necessary measurements. So a shoulder is 15 inches. 15 inches divided by 2, we have 7.5 inch. I usually add 1/4 of an inch for joining of sleeve. So this is what I have. Then I'm going to come down by 9 inches. So this is like a standard for me. Usually I come down by 9 inches, but if the person is very busty, I come down by 8 inches because I don't want a situation whereby it will be very tight at the armpit area. So I'm going to impute what I got here, which is 7 3/4 inch. So I'm going to connect the lines together. So I'm going to take a measurement of 3 inches as neck width, then come down for armhole by 1 inches, and I'm going to connect these 3 inches, this 1 inch to these 3 inches. So now I'm going to impute my main neck width. So the main neck width I'll be needing is um 4 inches. Then my neck depth is 4 inches. That means I have 4 by 4 inches. So for easier curve, if you don't have a curve ruler, this is what I do. I'll just take 4 inches all through. Then I connect it together. So then I'll just bring it this way. So this is what I have. So now I'm going to start imputing the body measurement. So our bust is 36 inches. 36 inches divided by 4, we have 9 inches. So I'm going to put it here. Then our waist, our under bust, from our shoulder to our under bust is 13 inches. Then our waist is 16 inches. So I'm leaving this 1 inch for sewing allowance. So half inch for joining of the shoulder part, then half inch for joining of the down part. So because of I'm going to join the shoulder with half inch, so I'm going to extend the under bust to 13.5. So by the time I take half inch at the up, we're going to be left with the same 13. So this is the under bust. Then our under bust is 30 inches. 30 inches divided by 4, we are left with 7.5. It will give us 7.5. Then our waist, 31 inches divided by 4, we have 7 3/4 inch, which is 7 inches, half inch, and 1/4 inch. So this is what we have. So because this is going to be a normal dart, not a princess dart, so I'm going to add 1 inch for the dart allowance. Then I'm going to add 1 1/4 inch for sewing allowance. So here I'm just going to add 1 1/4 inch for sewing allowance because the dart is not going to get to 10 inches or 9 inches. So I'm going to connect this together. So next I'm going to come do the armhole curve. So I'm going to take the total measurement of this and this. We have 8 inches. Then I'm going to do for the midpoint, which is 4 inches. I'll mark it. I'll come in by half an inch. Then I'm going to curve it to meet with the main actual measurements, not with this allowance. So I'm going to curve this now. So this is our armhole curve. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the that allowance. So this fabric is very thick. I'm not adding any lining to it. So from the center back, I'm going to come in by half inch. sorry, I'm going to come in by 4 inches from the center back. This is the under bust, and this also is the waist. So I'm going to come by 4 inch. Then for me to determine where the dart is going to start is either you place your tape at the tip and you mark 12.5 inches. The standard is usually 12 inches, but because of the half inches of joining of the shoulder, that is why I'm doing 12.5 inches. So by the time I join the shoulder with half inch, I'm going to be left with 12 inches. So it's either you're coming down by 12.5 inches. So this is where the dart allowance is going to start from. And I'm going to impute my 4 inch. Then I'll roll the lines together. So remember it was 1 inch I added for that allowance. So I'm going to take half inch on both sides, half here and half here. Then I'll connect this to this and connect this to this. So this is what I have. This is my dart allowance. So by the time I sew this, the shape will be this way. So I'm going to do this for the other side also, and I'm going to use this front to cut the back. Then for the back, remember we came in by half inches, but for the back, if we're cutting the back, we're not going to come in. So I'm just going to take this from this 4 inch I have here. I'm just going to draw a curve to meet with this. So you see the difference. This is for the back, while this is for the front. So I'm using this to cut the back. That is why I'm doing this way. So by the time I finish cutting the back, I'll come and remove the excess piece of fabric from this. Then for the back neck depth, so I'm going to come in with 1.5 inch. And I'm going to connect it. So I'll cut this now and use this to cut the front. Please always remember to pin it. So guys, I'm done cutting the back. I use the front to cut the back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the necessary adjustments. So first of all, I'm going to trim off all this excess piece. So this is our back, our front neck depth. I'm going to trim it off to get what I want. Then also I'm going to trim this excess here. So this is perfect. We're done with this. So this is how to have a basic body for the front piece with our that. Then for the back, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come from this zipper allowance. Remember, I added extra 1 inch because there was 1 inch at the skirt part of the gown. So from this part, I'm going to come up by 1 inches. And I'm going to then remember from the center front we came in by 4 inch, but from here we're going to come in by 5 inches because we are going to put into consideration the extra 1 inch zip allowance. So this is the 5 inches here. So I just want to connect this 1 inch to like 2 inches after our depth. The reason for doing this is because our back is lower than our front, because by the time our bust carries our front body up, is going to be shorter. Then this back is not going to come too low. So I subtract 1 inch from this center back so that it will be in a perfect to be on your waist, not down. So I'll cut this out. Then I'll mark my darts. So for the back piece, when you are taking your dart from the tip of your fabric, you are going to mark 9.5 inches. Remember at the front we mark 12.5 inches, but for the back you are going to mark 9.5 inches. Reason because there's no bust, there's no breast at your back, it's flat, so you come up with 3 inches. So this is my 9.5 inches and this is my 5 inches. So I'm going to from here as usual, I'm going to come half inch here, then connect it to both sides. So guys, before I proceed to the sewing machine, I'm going to cut facing for my so guys, I've gone ahead to cut my facing for both my front and back piece. So this is for the back piece, while this is for the front piece, all with 2.5 inches. So you can see this extra is my zipper allowance here. So guys, I'm done doing the darts, sewing the darts. That's it. You can see I've ironed it, then I've turned the neck. So this is what we have. Then this is the skirt part. So I've attached this pattern fabric to the up, then I close the end before doing that. So this is what we have. You can see this opening here. So this is for my pocket. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the sleeve for this dress and the pockets, and I'll go attach them. Then after attaching them, I'll join this down part to this up part with half an inch. So I'll go and join it all together. So let me cut out the sleeve now. So before cutting out the sleeve, first thing I'm going to turn my clothes at the back. This is the fixing. I've sewn it with 3/4 of an inch. So I'll use an Emmy gum to gum it to the body. You can decide to tack it, but I'll use an Emmy gum. So I'll turn this, then I'll take the round sleeve measurement. So I'll put my tape. So we have 8.5 inches. So I'm going to see if it's the same thing I have at this part. Yes, we have 8.5 inches. So I'm going to start from the down part and putting the measurement around weeks is 7 inches. 7 inches divided by 2, we have 3.5 inches here. So I'm going to add an extra 1 inch. So I'm going to come down by 4 inches from the top, then I'll just do it off. So I'll take the measurement if it's up to 8.5. Yeah. So this is our 8.5 inches here. So this is going to be for sewing allowance. Then what I'll do around sleeve is 13 inches. So this is the 13 inches and 1 inch extra. So I'm going to connect it together. I'm going to link it down to this. So you can use a ruler to do this, then I'll cut it out. So our sleeve is ready. So this is our sleeve, is a long sleeve. Next, I'm going to be cutting the pocket. So I'm just going to manage this. Not like manage sharp, but I don't want to waste much of fabric. So our pocket is 7. The width of our pocket is 7 inches, but I'm going to do it 8 inches. Sorry, the wideness of our pocket is 7 inches. So I'm just going to curve it all to this point. Cut it out. So guys, this is our pocket. I've gone ahead to cut the pocket. This is for the right hand side and this is for the left hand side. So I have a length of 9 inches here. Although the wideness of my pocket is 7 inches. So I'm going to go place this like this. And so I'll go and join the sew the pocket to the down part, then sew the sleeve to the upper part, then I'll join it together, fix the sleeve, and I'll come show you the total outcome of this outfit. So guys, this is the outcome of the dress. This is what our dress look like. So thank you for staying to the end of this video, of this tutorial. Until I come your way next time, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.